Gate Wasteland has just dropped this latest chapter, and it's kind of boring. Okay, I say it's kind of boring, but you'll understand once we get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, the latest chapter of Gate Wasteland is dropped, and it is sort of boring, but not boring at the same time, because it does open up the world. Anyway, the last chapter we had operatives from not only China and Russia, but also Great Britain. Because, of course, the British never learn their fucking lesson, now do they? But the big thing about it is that they do evacuate back across the gate. However, one of the things they are doing right now is we do see one soldier actually patrolling the Goodsprings settlement and actually kind of providing protection. And he finds two corpses. One being the courier, Courier 6, and the other one being, of course, Benny. And his fancy little 9mm, and of course, some other stuff there. And that's it, really. I am a little disappointed in this chapter, and I'll be honest, I want Shadow Trooper to try and push beyond just the current word cap he's doing. Again, Shadow Trooper, I know you're watching this, and I know you are going to enjoy this, obviously, but I really would love to see you try and expand more. Make it a longer chapter than it is. You can push yourself. I mean, hell, I'm covering this story for you, as well as the other stories you're going to be giving, again, I am going to be covering those stories for you. Because I do legitimately love these stories you're doing. But at the same time, you are definitely teasing us. For the love of God, if you don't fucking make these chapters goddamn longer, I'm pissed. But, speculation at least. What is going to happen in the Wasteland now that this has happened? Now that all this information has been brought to the world, and obviously all the information from the other side being brought over. The Brotherhood of Steel, in my opinion, I can see trying to, very much so, try and get access to this world, try and learn more from this world, how their world has not fallen into nuclear apocalypse, unlike theirs, and try and gain a technological advantage, maybe try and make a deal with them, or at the very least, try and come over to them, make a deal with them. NCR, same damn thing. They're going to try and work together alongside US forces against Caesar's Legion. As for Caesar's Legion, I can see them trying to maintain a diplomatic relationship with these other worlders, or at least from this alternate Earth. Because once Caesar learns about this other Earth, he's going to have a hard decision to make, because not only is he going to deal with a world that has never been ravaged by nuclear war, but also those who have more technology than he does, the ability to completely wipe out cities than he does, have more military might than he does, more numbers than him. He's going to have to make a very much so hard decision. And that decision I can see being diplomatic, since he can't just, enslave them as he would any other savage tribe. No, this is not a savage tribe. This is an entire organized nation with an entire organized military with much more higher advanced technology than the NCR. He's going to try his damnedest to appease them and make sure that there is no conflict between him and America. And it doesn't mean America's not going to do its own thing, because the CIA is going to do what the CIA does best. And they're going to try and put in their own people, or at least their backed people, into Caesar's Legion, and attempt to influence Caesar, or at least attempt to kind of get him to back off the Hoover Dam, kind of go back to his territory, in exchange for possible trade relations, in exchange for something at least. Slavery is going to be the big thing, because that's where the influence is going to kind of integrate into it. If they can't influence Caesar to immediately give equal rights to all and sort of stop the enslaving thing, as well as not create child soldiers, then they're going to take that motherfucker out, and they're going to make sure that their own people are put into it, or at least cripple the Legion to the point where if the NCR does make a push, the Legion's crippled to the point that they can make that push. As for the followers of the Apocalypse, they're going to closely work with the U.S. They are definitely going to work alongside them, especially with other non-profit organizations, the Red Cross, other NGOs, essentially. And they're going to work with them very much so closely, try and get as much medical supplies as humanly possible, try and get as much help as humanly possible, to help them with as many of the refugees and other wounded, the squatters, everyone. And once they meet the kings, I can guarantee you that once they learn about Elvis Presley's home, they're going to want to try and make a pilgrimage to that. They're going to want to try and make a pilgrimage to Graceland to see where the king had lived. Learn about the king. And literally, I would not be surprised if there was a second wave of frickin' king interpreters that sweeps the U.S. As for Robert House, with all the tech and all the stuff that he downloaded, that his Securitron downloaded, and once he connects back to the mainframe itself and he learns everything about this world, he's going to do his damnedest to basically make them business partners. I can already see that. And work alongside them to make sure that New Vegas stays wholly independent. Or at least make sure that conflict with them never fucking happens. And again, he's a business-oriented man, so he's going to work alongside them to try and make their technology, or at least give them the ability to have technology that works, or at least help them with the ability to be able to have their technology cross the gate, so that way it works without issue, essentially. As for the Great Khans, I could see them asking the U.S. for sanctuary, or at least, in a sense, ask them help to get them, to lands that they can lay down roots in, or at least attempt to kind of have that ability to be able to have a family, essentially, be able to expand as a culture. I can see them I can see the Native American associations actually feeling very sympathetic for the Great Khans, and when they find out about the Good Springs Massacre, fucking railing the NCR and even demanding answers, even trials, essentially, for those who committed the Good Springs Massacre. And the NCR, probably being the NCR, would very much so want to see this as a political move to appease the Great Khans and the U.S. And yes, allow a trial or a tribunal to be held with neutral parties. So that way, it's neither Great Khan interest or NCR interest being pushed. It is the U.S. wholly holding these tribunals for the people who were at the Good Springs Massacre and who had committed them. And it would come down to who gave the order to kill them, who fucked up. And it would definitely work their way to the person who actually gave the order. Again, it's one of those things that I would really love to see, and more world building I'd love to see. But in terms of the actual presence in the Mojave Wasteland, as well as the other things that have been explained, because the guy literally dropped the DLC as well. I'm talking the Honest Hearts DLC. He fucking dropped that, which means we're going to probably see a military expedition to Zion. Freaking dead money. The U.S. is going to explore that, and we already know what's going to happen there. They're going to go in mop gear, they're going to go in with hazmat, and they are going to fucking clear out the Sierra Madre, and they're going to do extensive freaking scientific research studies on the mist itself and bring down Father Elijah. Freaking Old World Blues was also teased as well, and oh boy! The second the U.S. immediately steps into Big Mountain, that's an immediate military occupation. That is an immediate making sure that these bastards don't do stupid shit and getting their hands on fucking teleportation technology. That is going to be fun as hell. And then finally, the big one. Lonesome Road. As soon as they get into the divide, that is going to be the make it or break it moment for the U.S. occupation, or at least the U.S. forces in the Mojave Wasteland. Because if they go in there, and believe me, they're going to go in there with force. They're going to go in there with not only air assets, but also ground assets as well as THAAD systems. Because as soon as they learn about Hopeville being a nuclear ICBM facility, THAAD systems are going to be immediately installed around that area, as well as Patriot systems. Because the idea of allowing ICBMs that may or may not be active is still a big threat. That's a WMD. They are going to fucking occupy that area, and they are going to guard that area with their damn lives. Because nobody needs nuclear weapons. Nobody fucking needs any of that. And they are going to hold that area. That was Gate Wasteland. And I'll be honest, we got teased a lot in this chapter. But at the same time, I felt a little empty in this chapter. I felt just... Shadow Trooper, please, make them longer. We know you can do it, but I'm asking you, nay, begging you, make these chapters a little longer so that way they are enjoyable. You can do good. I know you can do good, and I want you to do good. I want this fanfiction to actually be really good. But, at the same time, kind of blue-balling us a bit. You're kind of teasing us a bit. Thank you all for watching. As always, I've been Airsoft Al, and again, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to what's to come, but I want this to be a little longer. I would love to see more detail. I'd love to see a little bit more world building. I'd love to see the reaction of the Mojave Wasteland and the factions of learning about that world. So, Shadow Trooper, for the love of God, please make it longer for this reaction chapter, because I really want to see the Mojave Wasteland. I really want to see your interpretation of the Mojave Wasteland faction's reaction to that world, to what happened over there, to their technological advancement, to their history, to their literature. I want to see that. Anyway. Thank you all for watching. As always, I've been Airsoft Al, and next time we take a look at Star Wars Reacts to Earth Intermission #1. And believe me, this is where things get fun. Till next time.